Why is Evan laying the smackdown on Craven's candy ass? Oh, a kick to the back of the head. It ain't yours. You ain't cool. Yeah, put it on him. That's what it belongs to.
The winner, Craven.
Yeah, he really looks like a winner.
In wrestling, a stipulation can make or break a match, or even a feud. Some of the best match stipulations can raise the stakes for the story you're trying to tell. Your ladder matches, your cage matches, time-honored staples of the wrestling industry. But not every stipulation can reach those heights. In fact, we came up with our fair share of really dumb wrestling match stipulations. In Lucha Libre, there is probably no stipulation with more stakes than the mask versus mask match, as luchadors are identified and defined by their masks. Losing their mask is losing themselves, losing their personality, losing their persona, losing their identity. In America, we've popularized the hair versus hair match. It's a way to put something on the line that's valuable to this person that they don't want to lose. When you're a 15-year-old kid, you don't really have the power to do a hair versus hair match, so we did beard versus beard. Back in 2003, during my original feud with the Grimm in XWF, to add some stakes to our match, we had a beard versus beard match where the loser must shave.
Want a piece of me? Yes! This Thursday, you and me! Beard versus beard match, loser must shave! I want a piece of Grimm! You want a piece of me? Yeah! I want a piece of Grimm! By the way, turn around! Oh, it looks like we're out of control here!
Yeah, nothing gets people invested more than, oh my god, someone's gotta shave. Whatever will they do for the next 2 weeks while they wait for their beard to grow back? The match itself was not bad, but this stipulation didn't add anything, and it was quickly forgotten about as XWF only ran like 3 or 4 shows. By the time the Grimm debuted in PWL a few months later, his beard had grown back and no one cared. In the early days of PWL, 13-year-old me was just throwing anything at the wall to see what would stick. And one idea I came up with was a finisher-only match. A match where the only moves that were allowed was wrestler finishers.
This is a finisher-only match.
In my head, this match seemed epic. Rock bottom, sweet chin music, pedigree, jackhammer. Oh my god, think of the stakes! In reality, it was really boring and really limited and killed all these finishers by just treating them as regular ass moves. On top of that, in wrestling video games at the time, finisher only was a match stipulation you could do where you win just by hitting your finisher. So when Skullmania hit me with his finisher, everyone just assumed the match was over. Now, we were really young and didn't know any better. We were just a bunch of kids. But we were ahead of our time. 20 years later, matches where all you do is hit someone's finisher would become the norm in AEW. As PWL wore on, we also tried to broaden our horizons with different divisions. WWE had heavyweight, tag team, women's, hardcore. So we tried to do the same thing, except ours were way less creative. We introduced a boxing division that we called Fight Weight because 15-year-old Phil was not that creative. The idea of fight weight matches was they were basically boxing matches, usually by people who didn't know how to box, but if you hit a wrestling move, that was an instant disqualification. For some reason, we looked at the Brawl for All and thought we could top this. The biggest problem with this whole experiment was, as soon as we took someone like Poe, who had mixed martial arts and boxing experience, and stuck him in a fight weight match, everyone else was completely unprepared and it was a one-hit knockout. To put it mildly, no one cared about our stupid fight weight division, and it was quickly forgotten about and never mentioned again. I don't know how obvious this next statement is, but 15-year-olds aren't that mature. I know, believe me, 15-year-old me couldn't believe it either. Because one idea I came up with was to take our two most overweight wrestlers and put them in a sandwich on a pole match, where the winner was the first person to retrieve a bologna sandwich and take a bite. At the time, I thought this was genius, but looking back, my God, was this stupid and pointless and should never have happened.
Nappy has a sandwich!
Yes, he's got the sandwich in hand. He's the damn sandwich. The champion lying down in pain. Go down. We gotta get a close-up of him in pain. The champion's writhing in pain. He just realized what he lost. Son of a bitch must have been hungry.
Toward the end of 2002, I would take the concept of people fighting over food and try it again, this time with a battle royal at an event called Can of Whoop Ass. The winner of said battle royal would win a mystery can, which was literally a can from my pantry that the label had fallen off of and we didn't know what was in it. We did also add the stipulation that in addition to the mystery can, you also win a title shot at our Return of the Grinch free preview. But the point is, Poe tore through an entire battle royal to win a can of green beans.
It's peaches!
You have won green beans.
Told you it was green
Beans, everybody.
How
Want a
about
ball?
the whoop, yo?
Sir, you want the green beans?
You can have some fun. Damn, Poe deserves that. He broke everybody.
Green beans. Forget the green beans. Fuck them green beans.
By the time we got to CCW, we had really scaled back stipulations. We had an audience. We were very self-conscious about how we were presenting ourselves and the product we were creating and putting out into the world. So we really shied away from stupid stipulations. We really wanted our product to be taken seriously. So the only time we did stipulations were very few and far between, and only when it was absolutely necessary. In mid-2004, we had been building Poe up for the world title. However, he was still the Underground champion, and we didn't want him to have two belts. So we needed a way to get that Underground title off of him without him eating a pinfall, taking a loss, and hurting his momentum. So we came up with this match, where the Underground title would be suspended above the arena and the first man to retrieve it would win. It was basically a ladder match without the ladder.
Poe just lost the match. Craven pulled down the
Finish him off. Finish him off, Poe.
Whoa! I want a kick to the back of his head. Poe just lost his belt. Craven's the new Underground champion of CCW.
A year later, we would do this stipulation again with Nappy and Evan because we wanted to get the Underground title onto Nappy, but we didn't want to hurt any of Evan's momentum. So same reason, same stipulation. The problem is, both times, we never bothered to actually come up with a name for this match. It's literally the match with no name. I guess you could call it Title on a Pole, even though there's no pole, but thanks to Vince Russo, those matches have a very negative connotation to them. So literally every time we did this match, we just had to describe how you win because we couldn't be bothered to come up with a name for it.
In the history of the Underground title, the champions never fared too well in these title suspended above the ring matches.
Oftentimes, stipulations are just thrown around for the sake of throwing them around. With us, especially towards the end, we were very conscious about telling a story and getting people invested. We wanted everything we did to mean something, to matter. And stipulations are a great way to raise the stakes and get people invested, get people wondering what's going to happen. But it took a lot of trial and error to get to that point, and we made a ton of mistakes along the way.